I was 23 years old, sitting in a crowded bar at 1 a.m. on a Saturday night. Music pounding, people laughing, everyone around me dancing, drinking, living what society had told us were the best years of our lives. But I felt empty, exhausted in a crowd, lonely surrounded by people, pretending to enjoy myself because I thought this was what I was supposed to be doing. I kept asking myself, what's wrong with me? Why don't I find this fun? It took me 3 more years to realize the answer. Nothing was wrong with me. I was just living someone else's definition of a good life. I was saying yes to things I didn't want to do because I feared being called boring. I was ignoring my boundaries because I thought that made me easygoing and likable. I was overthinking everything because I didn't trust my own judgment yet. I was chasing relationships without addressing my own wounds, expecting someone else to heal what only I could fix. And I was convinced that if I wasn't maximizing every moment of my 20s, I was wasting the golden years of my life. I was wrong about almost everything. Now, years later, with the clarity that only hindsight and hard-won growth can bring, I wish I could go back and tell my 23-year-old self what I know now. I wish someone had sat me down and said, listen, these years aren't about living up to anyone's expectations. They're about building the foundation for who you're going to become. I wish someone had told me that fun doesn't have to look like what Instagram says it should. That boundaries aren't selfish, they're survival. That most of my suffering was happening inside my own head, created by my own thoughts. That love alone would never be enough to sustain a healthy relationship. And that the most important work I could do wasn't making myself physically attractive, but making myself mentally healthy. So today, I'm sharing the 10 pieces of life advice I desperately wish I'd known sooner. Not dating advice, not success hacks, not productivity tips. This is life wisdom, the kind that shapes who you become, how you relate to others, and the choices that define your entire path. If you're between 15 and 30, navigating school, early career, relationships, trying to figure out who you are and what you want, this is for you. If you're constantly overthinking, people-pleasing, wondering if you're doing life right, this is for you. If you're trying to break patterns you grew up with, heal wounds you didn't create, build a life that doesn't require recovery from later, this is for you. These aren't just tips, they're invitations. Invitations to define your own path. Invitations to protect your peace. Invitations to grow into the person you're meant to be, not the person everyone else expects. Let's dive in. Lesson number 1, redefine what fun means to you. Here's the first truth they don't tell you. Fun doesn't have to mean drinking, partying, and socializing. For years, I forced myself into loud bars and crowded parties because I thought that's what young people were supposed to do. I thought if I wasn't out every weekend, I was boring, wasting my youth, missing out on life. But here's what I learned. Fun can be a night alone, getting lost in a book that changes how you see the world. Fun can be a deep conversation with one person instead of small talk with 20. Fun can be a walk where you finally hear your own thoughts clearly. Fun can be creating art, playing music, working on a project you're passionate about. Fun is yours. You define it, not society, not Instagram, not your friends who love clubbing. You. And here's the freedom in that. When you stop performing fun for other people's approval and start experiencing joy on your own terms, that's when you actually start living. Why this matters? Because every time you do something you don't enjoy just to fit in, you're betraying yourself. You're teaching your brain that your genuine preferences don't matter. And that pattern, that habit of abandoning your own needs for social acceptance, that will follow you into every relationship, every job, every major life decision, until you finally decide your own joy matters more than their approval. Lesson number 2, normalize saying no without over-explaining. This one changed my life. If someone is offended by your boundaries, that's their problem, not yours. For years, I would say yes to things I didn't want to do, then feel resentful afterward. Or I would say no, but spend 15 minutes explaining, justifying, apologizing, trying to make them understand why I couldn't do what they wanted. Here's what I learned. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your time, energy, or peace. Want to go out tonight? Instead of, oh, I really wish I could, but I'm just so tired from work and I have this thing tomorrow morning and honestly I haven't been sleeping well, and just say, not tonight, but thanks for thinking of me. Can you help me move this weekend? Instead of, I would love to help, but I actually have this prior commitment that I forgot about and my back has been hurting, and just say, I can't this weekend, but I hope the move goes smoothly. The best weight you'll ever lose is the weight of other people's opinions of you. When you stop carrying that burden, when you stop contorting yourself to avoid disappointing people who wouldn't do the same for you, you'll finally feel light. Lesson number 3, your teens and 20s are your building years. Let me reframe something you've probably heard. People say 15 to 30 are the golden years of your life, as if everything after is downhill. That's not true, and it's harmful. Here's the reality. The ages of 15 to 30 are your foundation years. These aren't your best years. They're your building years. During this time, you make friends and lose them too. You make mistakes and correct them too. You fall. You fail. You learn. You realize. You hit reality hard. You fall in love. You get your heart broken. You lose yourself. And eventually, you find yourself stronger. This decade and a half shapes who you'll become. The habits you build now, good or bad, will follow you for decades. The patterns you learn in relationships now, healthy or toxic, will show up in every relationship after. The way you treat your mental health now, with care or neglect, will determine your quality of life for years to come. But these aren't your only valuable years. Your 30s can bring clarity you never had in your 20s. Your 40s can bring confidence and self-knowledge your younger self couldn't imagine. Your 50s and beyond, many people report those as their happiest years. Your best years are the ones where you're living authentically, and that can be any age. So understand this. These years between 15 and 30 are crucial, but not because they're your peak, because they're your foundation. Build it strong, build it authentic, build it with intention, and don't let anyone convince you that life gets worse from here. It doesn't. It gets different, and often it gets better. Lesson number 4, 99% of your suffering happens in your head. Here's a truth that will set you free. 99% of the harm is caused in your head, by you and your thoughts. Only 1% is caused by the reality of what actually happens. Think about that. How many times have you spiraled into anxiety about something that never happened? How many conversations have you replayed in your mind, creating meaning that wasn't there? How many worst-case scenarios have you imagined that never came true? Your mind is incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly creative at inventing problems. Example, your partner doesn't text you back for 2 hours. Your thoughts create, they're mad at me. They're losing interest. They're talking to someone else. This relationship is falling apart. The reality, their phone died. They were in a meeting. They fell asleep. Your friend seems distant. Your thoughts create, they hate me. I did something wrong. They're cutting me out. I'm losing them. The reality, they're dealing with personal stuff that has nothing to do with you. Most of your suffering is self-inflicted, not because you're weak or broken, but because your brain is trying to protect you by preparing for every possible threat. The solution? Learn to separate what's actually happening from the story you're telling yourself about what's happening. Practice asking, is this thought based on facts, or am I catastrophizing? Am I reacting to reality or to my fear of reality? That simple distinction can eliminate 99% of your anxiety. Lesson number 5, improve your mental diet. Everything changes when you realize your diet isn't just what you eat. It's what you watch, what you read, who you follow, who you spend time with. You can eat perfectly healthy while consuming 4 hours of toxic social media daily, violent news on loop, gossip and negativity from people around you, content that makes you feel inadequate, and then wonder why you're anxious, depressed, or mentally exhausted. If your goal is a healthier mind, start by removing the junk food from your mental diet. Audit your consumption. Social media, unfollow accounts that make you feel bad about yourself. Follow accounts that inspire, educate, or bring genuine joy. News, limit consumption to 15 to 30 minutes daily. Constant exposure to crisis creates constant anxiety. People, distance yourself from those who drain your energy, gossip constantly, or make you feel small. Content, what you watch before bed affects your sleep and mental state. Choose wisely. Your mind is like a garden. What you feed grows. Feed it negativity, comparison, and doom scrolling. That's what will flourish. Feed it inspiration, learning, and positive connection. Watch how your entire life transforms. Lesson number 6. Most problems are thought problems. Here's something that will change how you approach challenges. Most of the time, the problem is not the problem. The way you think about the problem is. Example, you didn't get the job you wanted. Destructive thinking, I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. Everything always goes wrong for me. Constructive thinking, this particular role wasn't the right fit. What can I learn from this? What's my next move? Same event, completely different outcomes based on how you frame it. You can fix most of your problems just by fixing your thoughts. Not by pretending problems don't exist, but by changing your relationship with them. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me solve the problem, or is it making me feel worse? Am I focusing on what I can control, or obsessing over what I can't? Am I catastrophizing, or am I looking at this rationally? Your thoughts create your reality more than your circumstances do. Master your thoughts, and you'll master your life. Lesson number 7. Become mentally attractive, not just physically attractive. Here's what no one tells you about attraction. Do not spend so much time trying to be more physically attractive just to impress your crush. Instead, make yourself mentally attractive. What does that mean? Educate yourself. Read books. Learn about the world. Have interesting conversations. Address your recurring toxic thoughts. Work through your patterns. Go to therapy if needed. Deal with your insecurities. Don't expect a relationship to fix them. Learn to be happy on your own. Don't seek a partner to complete you. Physical attraction gets someone's attention. Mental and emotional health keeps it. You could be the most beautiful person in the room, but if you're insecure, jealous, mentally unstable, and unable to be alone with yourself, that relationship will crumble. Attractiveness isn't just about looks. It's about how you handle conflict, how you communicate needs, how you show up when life gets hard, how you treat yourself and others. Work on that. The rest will follow. Lesson number 8. Before marriage, discuss everything. If you're considering marriage, hear this. Before you get married, discuss everything. Not just whether you love each other. That's baseline. Discuss. Wide heavy checkmark bills and financial management. Wide heavy checkmark parenting styles and whether you even want kids. Wide heavy checkmark what beliefs and values you'll install in your children. Wide heavy checkmark childhood traumas and how they affect you now. Wide heavy checkmark sexual expectations and needs. Wide heavy checkmark financial expectations and goals. Wide heavy checkmark family health history. Wide heavy checkmark dream home and where you want to live. Wide heavy checkmark career ambitions and priorities. Wide heavy checkmark education philosophies. White heavy checkmark religion and spirituality. White heavy checkmark how you'll handle conflict. And whatever else comes to mind. Why? Because most divorces don't happen because people stopped loving each other. They happen because people build a life on assumptions instead of aligned vision. I've seen couples marry after years together, only to discover one wants kids, the other doesn't. They have completely different financial values. Their religious differences are deal breakers. They have unaddressed trauma that destroys intimacy. These conversations feel awkward. Have them anyway. Love grows in clarity, not mystery. Lesson number 9. Love is not enough. This one hurts, but it's true. Love is not enough. You can love someone deeply and still be incompatible. You can love someone and still need to leave for your mental health. You can love someone and still fail to build a healthy relationship. Love is the foundation, but you also need communication skills, shared core values, emotional maturity, willingness to grow together, ability to resolve conflict healthily, mutual respect, aligned life goals. Love without these, that's just attachment with suffering. Don't stay in a relationship just because you love them. Stay because you love them and the relationship is healthy. Lesson number 10, heal before having children. Final lesson, and maybe the most important, heal before having children, so your children don't have to heal from having you as a parent. This isn't about being perfect. It's about doing the work to address your unresolved childhood trauma, your unhealthy coping mechanisms, your toxic relationship patterns, your emotional regulation issues, before passing them on to the next generation. Children don't need perfect parents. They need emotionally healthy parents. Parents who can apologize when they're wrong. Parents who don't use their kids as emotional support. Parents who model healthy relationships and boundaries. Parents who've done enough work on themselves that they're not unconsciously inflicting their pain on their children. Break the cycle. Be the parent you needed. Give your children a childhood they don't need to recover from. So here we are, 10 lessons I wish I'd known sooner. 10 pieces of wisdom that would have saved me years of confusion, anxiety, people-pleasing, and trying to live up to someone else's idea of who I should be. But here's the thing. These aren't just lessons. They're invitations. Invitation number 1, define your own path, even when it looks nothing like everyone else's. Even when people call you boring for staying home. Even when your choices don't make sense to your friends. Your life, your rules. Invitation number 2, protect your peace, even when people call you selfish. Set boundaries without apology. Say no without guilt. Your mental health is not negotiable. Invitation number 3, master your inner world before trying to control the outer world. Fix your thoughts. Improve your mental diet. Address your wounds. 99% of your suffering is self-created. That means 99% is in your control. Invitation number 4, build relationships on clarity, not just chemistry. Discuss the hard things. Understand that love isn't enough. It needs compatibility, communication, and shared values. Don't build a future on assumptions. Invitation number 5, heal before you create the next generation. Don't pass on the trauma you inherited. Be the parent you needed. Break the cycle. You're between 15 and 30. These are your building years, not your only years, not necessarily your best years, but the years that will shape every year that comes after. So build wisely. Build a foundation of self-knowledge, healthy boundaries, emotional maturity, and authentic joy. Build a life that doesn't require decades of therapy to recover from. Build relationships based on honesty and aligned values, not just attraction and hope. Build habits that serve your future self, not just your present comfort. Your future self is watching. The 30-year-old you, the 40-year-old you, the 50-year-old you. They're all watching the choices you make today. Make them proud. These years will be full of mistakes. Embrace them. They'll be full of pain. Grow through it. They'll be full of confusion. Learn from it. But most importantly, don't waste these years trying to be someone you're not. Don't waste them living for other people's approval. Don't waste them running from your wounds instead of healing them. These are your building years. Build a life you don't need to escape from. Build a self you're proud to be. Build a foundation strong enough to support the incredible life waiting for you on the other side of this growth. You've got this, and I'm rooting for you.